Like and subscribe. Please look.
Eskimo. Good evening, weirdos, and welcome to the show that remembers it for you, Totaled Recall. I'm your host, Jethro Bot, and with me is your host, the Wizard. How you doing, Wizard?
The guy who forgets it for you,
Yeah.
so you can watch it again. I'm totaled.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad. I'm getting there. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. I do want to just give a quick warning that since we're doing 1988's Heathers, we are going to be discussing sexual assault and suicide. So if that's not going to be in your bag conversationally, just want to give you fair warning. So anyway, it is 1988's Heathers, starring Winona Ryder and a role she begged to do. My experience with this movie before revisiting it, I think, is what is really kind of the key to its success. I was in high school and it completely, resonated with me, and I thought it was hilarious, and had a VHS, dub of it and watched it several times. But it is not a movie that I've spent much time revisiting. I did see it, I want to say like 5 or 6 years ago at an Alamo. It was a print. It was a really beat up print. It was in terrible, terrible shape. So I think that was the last time I saw it.
It's not a bad way to see a movie sometimes.
No, I kind of like, I'm one of those guys that likes a beat up print. I like a beat up record, I have a copy of Chocolate and Cheese that I bought brand new when I was, in my mid 20s, and it is beat up real bad. That is like my party life preserved in a completely beat up record. So, yeah. Hello, Black Lives. Thanks for stopping by. If you,
Wish you could stay.
Yeah, wish you could stay. If it's too long, didn't read, just see Heathers. Just go. Okay. All right. So anyway, I did really, really dig this when I was a kid, and I definitely saw it through a new lens revisiting it. So we'll talk about some perceptions that were different. But what about you? Like, you ever see Heathers before this?
Yeah, I saw it around the time it came out, certainly, and watched it several times after that.
When you say came out, did you see it in the theater?
Maybe it's hard to remember.
Okay, yeah.
I've slept once or twice since then, but definitely, watched it a lot on the old what used to be streaming, the HBOs and things. I don't remember the last time I saw it.
Was this a cable mainstay? Do you recall?
I don't know if mainstay would be the word, but I know I saw it on On some of the pay channels for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and just real quick, I want to wish someone a happy adoptsiversary. It's Tumbleweed. She's lived with us for 5 years. Good girl. Say hello. Please stop looking so worried. We're having fun. We're a loving family. Okay. All right.
And now
Well,
I know that's from another movie. My response is, stop trying to make Mean Girls happen.
yeah.
I'm gonna call it Heather's was better.
Heather's was better. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk
Spoiler.
about Clueless.
I think we know how I'm voting.
Well, let's go ahead and bring out our panelist, Barbara Lawrence, who chose this film.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? It was so nice hanging out with you in person earlier this month. You know,
I had so much fun.
Yeah, it was really
So much fun.
delightful. We had neon sign Asian food. I had mock duck. It was outstanding.
We had a succulent Chinese meal.
A succulent Chinese meal?
A succulent Chinese meal?
Yeah, it was awesome. I had a blast hanging out with you and Laura. So much fun. So much
fun. Same here. Yeah, it was great. Well, again, thanks for picking Heather's. This is a movie from my youth as well. Howdy, Eraserhead. How you doing?
Hey, Eraserhead.
What was your relationship like with Heather's? Like,
I did see this in the theater when it came out, ironically or unironically, however, in a mall.
Oh yeah, no, that's perfect.
Oh, nice, nice.
And I remember walking away from the theater thinking, "Wow, that was amazing." I don't know how many people are really going to get this movie. And those were my thoughts. And as it turns out, those were really correct thoughts to have, because the movie did not do well on original release. It's since gained a cult following, but the initial release of the film was not great.
No,
it was not great.
It probably would have been more damaging to everybody's careers if it had been a more expensive film. But the fact that it only cost $3 million to make,
right.
And so they probably made a profit sometime a while ago at this point, but not when it was at the box office.
No, not when it first came out.
So that's cool. I'm jealous of that experience of going to see this at a mall.
I think I was probably working at the mall when it came out.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, I saw this at the mall, the Santa Ana Mall, I believe.
Did you see Mallrats at the mall?
No, I did not see Mallrats at the mall.
Bummer.
Yeah, but and my two thoughts when I came out of the theater was, wow, that was incredible. I don't know how many people are going to get this movie and think it's as funny as I did. And two, was that really intentional for him to just do Jack Nicholson so blatantly? And as it turned out, it was.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good movie. I really do.
It's funny too, because he admitted to it later, but the director had already defended him. You know.
Yeah.
And so kind of, you should maybe let your director know it's okay. I'm going to tell people. I just love Jack Nicholson. I love him.
Apparently, Christian Slater actually wrote to Jack Nicholson asking him to watch the movie, and then he never got a response. So who knows?
Maybe he did watch it. He was like, "What the
actual F, man?
You
Who
can't
does this
do that.
Not-nosed pug think he is? I'm fucking Jack Nicholson."
We got a rat. All right. Well, speaking of people I had a wonderful, wonderful time hanging out with earlier this month, let's bring out your lovely partner, someone whom I have known. I first met Adam in 1993, which is still pretty long time ago.
Well, I feel like $50,
Yeah.
considering how long it's been. And yes, it was an absolute pleasure to meet up with you and Laura. It had been way too long. It had been like 10 years,
Yeah.
something like that. So
Well,
yes,
I saw you that one time in Oakland, and I want to say that was like 2 years before the pandemic. So that was like 18, I think.
oh okay,
Like July
So
of 18. Yeah.
it was further back in my head, but yeah, we had a couple of dive bars there in Oakland's Temescal district.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is it called? The Boulevard?
Well, it's Telegraph Road, which is a pretty well-known.
Yeah, but that
Correct.
one bar, that dive with all.
Oh, the name of the
toys.
bar?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
it was called the Boulevard, the Avenue, or something like that. But that's skeletons on the sign. Anyway, that place was.
Yeah, no windows.
Yeah.
Trapped in a time capsule, very 70s inside, and cheap drinks.
Well, let me tell you,
cheap
I will
drinks.
be absolutely shocked if you had not seen Heathers before.
I had.
This one. You
I
had,
had,
yes.
and
I imagine. I had to imagine.
Yes, and I lobbied hard for this choice with
Mhm.
my beloved partner Babs. I saw
So
it in
he
the.
did not have to fight hard on this at all. It
didn't
was just
lean
like,
on him
yeah, we're
much.
doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters on its original release.
You
so
saw
that
it.
would've been-
Wow, you guys are like part of $220,000 that weekend. That's amazing. That's amazing.
I don't think I paid. I had still had friends working at the theater, but
Oh, okay.
um,
Yeah,
But I
why
did-
not kick them in the teeth while you're at it? You know, just,
they underpaid me anyways. It's
yeah,
fine.
right.
But I had great memories of the movie. It's always occupied a nice little locker in my heart, and I was very excited to rewatch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was excited to rewatch it too, and yeah,
I was excited to rewatch it.
Same. Yeah. Okay.
Is anyone
well,
not excited to rewatch this movie?
Very excited. Very excited. Well, here is Bride of Pumpkin Heather. She
Hi.
She's
I,
when we returned from San Diego, we both got COVID. So,
And
maybe,
I still have it.
yeah, maybe there will be times when you can tell. We're,
I'm so sorry.
Oh,
It's the lovely parting gift.
yeah, worth
You're
it.
welcome.
Worth it.
well,
Um,
thanks for y'all's concern. I'm definitely on the mend.
Hooray!
Yay.
Yay.
Well, I can tell you that Bride of Pumpkin Heather and I have had a VHS tape of Heather sitting on our coffee table for quite some time without popping it in. So, Pumpkin, was this your first time seeing Heather's?
So I'm not entirely sure. I didn't see it, when it came out, and somehow managed not to see it growing up. Although, as I was watching it for this watch, like I knew all the scenes were familiar. So I'm like, did I see it, or was it just sort of one of again one of those movies? I feel like many of them that we watch on Total Recall that is just sort of on all the time in your formative environments. So yeah, had not seen it that I recall, but certainly was not unfamiliar.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to find out if you like it. We got a few more folks to bring out here from Columbus, Ohio. It is Gravy Starter.
Don't get me started.
Which, man, if that movie were gravy instead of fire, I mean, I'm seeing things.
Can you imagine?
This has legs.
Yeah.
This has legs,
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure enough gravy can destroy cinder blocks.
You're going to have to gravy them, baby. Gravy them all.
2025 from Troma Films.
You're gonna have to make them all gravy, bud.
I'm gonna make some gravy balls.
Gravy.
Gravy balls.
Gravy Avenger.
Giant Swedish meatballs.
Now
Flying
I'm
up.
getting hungry.
I know. I
Flying
was
right
like, that's it. I'm going to IKEA.
They're flying right up Teeny Jake's butt. So, what? I feel like we watched Heathers when we were younger, right?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't we watch it together?
You introduced me to this movie. You'd
Oh,
already
okay,
watched
cool.
it. You really liked it. And you introduced it to me, and I really liked it. And you know, it's really funny. I think this is one of those movies that all of my friends liked. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like we all liked this movie, and I think. Oh, good night, buddy.
Wait, you're leaving? All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya. All
Good
right.
one.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Some good insight there.
It's just a kid.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting you have kids.
Yeah. I have to acknowledge them from time to time.
Whatever.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, I think you know, anybody that was like, you know, friends of ours, like this was universally like really appreciated, genuine 80s cult classic, you know.
Yeah.
Movie's really funny. So it was a lot of fun watching it again. The last time I'd seen this, it had been quite a while. I think the last time I watched it was with Nikki, my wife. And it's a movie that, of course, she liked as well.
She likes it too. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. She had already seen it before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is totally, I think, like a cool teenage girl from the 90s standard.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were a cool teenage chick in the 90s, like my wife was, this is a movie you saw and liked.
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly convinced.
Yeah. Sometime in the future we'll do Dogs in Space.
Oh boy, I'm there for it.
Well,
all right. Let's bring out Empress Buttercup from Denver, Colorado. Last but certainly not least, we're just giving you more time to get Saul manageable.
Wow.
Just kidding. We love Saul.
Well, rude. And her name is Saul, but okay. I understand. She's very loud. And I don't even know where she is right now, so she might start barking at any moment. There she is. There she is.
She's like, I'm right here. I'm right here.
There's our ray of
She's like,
sunshine.
How dare you
not
acknowledge me? Hi, how are you?
Well, good.
Hello.
We watched Heathers together, but I can't remember if you told me whether or not you'd seen it or not, right?
Yes. Well, we almost watched it together.
I started watching it together. Yeah,
I fell asleep. I fell asleep during the movie, so that's clue number one. Number two, based on what Gravy said, I'm obviously not a cool chick because I did not see this movie the first time around at all. Completely missed it. But I had a question because I saw on the internet that it said it was released in May, or it was released in 1988. But then I saw something else that said it was released in March of 89. So I'm just curious if anybody knows.
No, it was 88.
It was,
sure.
Yeah. It was 88, and it was like filmed like, you know, immediately after Beetlejuice. Like as far as like chronologically the films being worked on. Like Winona Ryder practically went straight from one film to the other.
Yeah, I was very surprised at that. I was like, this movie just is not ringing a bell. I don't think I watched it. And then when I started watching it, you know, with y'all, I realized that I had not indeed watched it at all. It was completely unfamiliar to me. So
wow. Well,
so
I know you're a Glenn Shaddix completist, so I'm glad we could help you with that. So you never heard of this movie?
No, I've heard of it.
Of
course,
okay.
I've heard of it, but I did not watch. I did not watch it the first time at all. It just missed me. But also in 1988, that's when I graduated high school, moved out. You know, I was 18. I moved away and started college on my own. So it was a very tumultuous year with a lot of personal upheaval. So it makes sense if it was released in 88 that is how I missed it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it sounds like you were otherwise occupied. So.
And again, it was not, burning up the theaters with, oh my God,
No.
you gotta come see this movie.
Which is
No,
weird. 'Cause
definitely not.
among my friends, it was so popular and everyone liked it so much that I guess
I think that speaks a lot more to your friends.
yeah,
Well,
I guess
As in
my
good
group.
people. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
my
know,
my clique at the time.
you have
it
a
had
good tribe.
it had a better life on the rental shelf. That's really where
Surely.
its popularity blossomed.
And-
And so, go
and
ahead.
cable
Go ahead.
and cable
And
too.
cable,
I mean,
and cable,
it
yes.
was shown a lot on cable. I remember I'd
Yeah.
seen it several times just by happenstance on HBO or Cinemax, Showtime, whatever.
Yeah. Well, we're going to
see,
go
that-
ahead and hit it. You guys ready? Oh.
Yeah, that I don't remember because that was
Mhm.
exactly when I left for college. So yeah, but I did see it in the theater. Let's hit it.
Yeah. All right. Doris Day does not allow,
Nope.
would not allow her music to be used in a rated R film.
Really?
And this is
Nope.
a rated R film. So you are hearing somebody cover in a Doris Day, similar to Doris's
Hey, yeah.
version. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's the Muzak version. We gotta.
yeah.
Hey, Sarah. Sarah.
Lisanne Falk.
Who else's mom sang this to them? Because mine did.
Oh, really?
Mine
Oh,
Hey,
did.
yeah,
Sarah,
that
Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had that song memorized as a child because my mom sang it to me all the time.
Aw,
I
that's
heard
so
my mom
sweet.
sing it once or twice. Yeah.
I just want to point out a little detail here that the girls are playing croquet, which immediately is a reference to Alice in Wonderland.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And Winona Ryder is definitely sporting a lot of Alice in Wonderland affects.
Blue.
She has a
Yeah.
little bit of blue tights, or she has blue on her somewhere all the time.
That all of the
Well-
girls have signature colors.
Sure.
You'll notice, like the main Heather is always red. The mid Heather is always yellow. Winona Ryder is always blue, and Heather Shannon Doherty is always green. So they all have their distinct color palette.
Can't say enough about the art direction in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh boy, you're not kidding. Like now, this right here is a director that knows how to use like just gel, like different color lights, basically. I don't, like whatever you call it. Like this guy's got it down.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
we had the rewatch together,
Mhm.
we were all kind of aghast at how artfully done this movie is, which I don't remember. And this is at the end of the 80s where everything is, all the reality is sort of hyper overdone anyways. It's very exaggerated. So it might have just kind of blended right in with the times. But looking back at it now, it's like, wow, very nicely handled. Great details.
Mhm.
Yeah, they really, it's a $3 billion movie that's shot at 3 different schools.
Mhm.
And so there's not really any soundstage work at all. But
I'm gonna say none of them are in Ohio either.
no, they're all
no.
they're
No,
all in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
But
it looks like LA.
Yeah,
One of the schools was a high school in Santa Monica that ended up, I think, burning down or had been condemned, or something weird happened to it where
It was
They-
on fire when I got there.
they just it was a sorry shaped high school, and it got torn down at some point. Yeah.
There was the exterior, those steps where the ending takes place, the big dramatic ending with the big stairs. That was a middle school, and same with the gymnasium. The gymnasium interior and the exterior of the steps is a middle school, and I think that's the school you're talking about because after an earthquake, it was condemned and has since
Yes, that's what it
torn down.
was.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, and it wasn't, it was in operation at the time that they made this movie, but since they made the movie, an earthquake, got it, like, ended it. So I was just looking up. I forgot the name of the movie. It's Gates of Flesh. There are 3 prostitutes in the film Gates of Flesh, and they each have different colors. Neither of them are blue. They're the red, green, and yellow. And the red one is the most powerful and bossy of the prostitutes. And which is the one that Doherty is? She's green, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, she's green. Yes. Yellow is a dumb prostitute, and green actually goes through a transformation. So if you think about that,
And
there's
she
no
does.
way. Yeah, there's no way that that's a coincidence, right?
No.
This screenwriter is a fan of the film Gates of Flesh.
Sorry, what was that prostitute movie called again?
Gates of Flesh.
Gates of Flesh. I just for a friend. I want to.
Sure. Yeah. And there's no blue in Gates of Flesh. They chose blue because she gets bruised. Basically, was the rationale behind that choice.
The writer for this movie, Daniel Waters, he also wrote Batman Returns.
Yep.
And Demolition Man.
Yep.
Glenn
Shattuck's
Returns.
I like both those movies.
Yeah,
me too.
they're great. He also wrote Hudson Hawk,
Mm-hmm.
and Michael Lehman directed Hudson Hawk. So
yes,
this was first screenplay, first directorial effort. And even though these guys worked together again more than once, their careers went in different directions.
Way different directions.
Daniel Waters, much more successful working in film than Michael Lehman, who eventually became.
He's still working he does mostly TV now, but he's still a working director.
Yeah, he's a working director, and he does a lot of YouTube actually.
Yeah,
so.
Awesome.
He likes to talk about movies, and you can tell that he loves movies because he loves slaves.
Speaking of movies, we're doing our little walkthrough here in the cafeteria, introducing everyone's different character qualities.
That's right, and here is Martha Dunstock. She
and
is
oftentimes in a single line.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything you need to know about this person is that one line.
Very tight dialogue.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no subtitles on this, right? I'm not robbing subtitles, but okay, just want to make sure because I had it all at the bottom.
We're in the mode of, and this is 88, so we're in the mode of
There's a bong in the hallway.
John Hughes sort of flavored high school movies, and a lot of ripoffs of John Hughes. And it starts. It feels like you're just going into another one of those movies. At the beginning here, it kind of eases you in.
It's way more edgy, though. I mean, I think it should be pointed out that the pranks that they're pulling right out of the gate in the opening scene of this film, the pranks that they are pulling out of the gate are vile and horrible.
Oh,
yes, it is mean to start with.
Yeah. So it's like, no, this isn't like a nice, like little Chris Columbus lightweight, teen comedy. Like we're.
And one of the things I love is that when we have to drop some narrative exposition to explain something, we just pull a random freak into the scene, have them deliver a line that tells us what we need to know in a humorous way, and then off they go.
Yeah, with your childhood friend and Martha here.
Yeah. Barbara, what were you trying to say? I know we were.
It was a deliberate choice because he did not want to make a movie that was another Breakfast Club he wanted to make an antithesis of, and he definitely succeeded in that aspect.
Yes, I think in every part of the process, people were looking specifically at John Hughes, and that includes Daniel Waters writing the screenplay. It definitely included several of the actors' approach to the material, including Winona Ryder, who loves this movie. This is like
she does.
Winona Ryder's favorite movie, and she knows all the lines, and she still watches it. And Yeah, she's
And
wild
then
about it.
there's Shannon Doherty, who
Yes.
did not understand this movie.
No,
Yeah,
she did
that's
not.
right.
Definitely worth mentioning. Shannon did not realize this was a
No.
parody.
Yeah,
She did not get that it was a
Or a
dark
comedy.
comedy. Yeah.
A comedy, even.
She did not
That's
get that
right.
it was a
That's
dark
right.
comedy at
Yeah.
all. In
Yeah.
fact, when they were all together and they were screening it for just the the actors that were in it,
She got upset.
she got up and ran out of the room crying because
Mhm.
she thought it was a straight drama and didn't get that it was a dark comedy.
It made sense to her life and her experience. So this
Well,
would be totally normal.
To her credit, in this performance, this is what got her cast in 90210 because Tori Spelling had seen the movie and recommended her to her dad, Aaron Spelling, who produced the show.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even realize this was pre 90210.
Yeah.
This
is Brina 90210.
It's so pre 90210 that they actually were weighing a Heather's TV series starring
thank God they didn't do
starring
that.
Shannon Doherty before they optioned 90210. So like it's almost like they saw this movie and they were like, we want this movie, we want Shannon Doherty. And they're like, well, we get one of them anyway,
This kid on the right, Patrick Laborator or Laboratro or however you pronounce his name.
What a face.
He and Shannon Doherty both guest starred on Little House on the Prairie back in the day.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, where do I know this kid from? And so I had to IMDb it. I'm like,
yeah,
it's Little House. Of course, it's Little House.
When you watch, I was just going to say real quick, when you watch Doherty's performance in here, it's important to remember not only was she taking everything seriously because she didn't realize it was a comedy or a parody, but that also she had lived an extremely conservative life up until she arrived at Hollywood.
Clearly.
So a lot of the swearing and gnarly lines like, why are you yanking my dick? That she had to deliver, she had an extremely hard time keeping a straight face. And so a lot of her smiling and laughing is genuine because she couldn't get
She was very uncomfortable with it.
Yeah, she couldn't get used to what she was doing,
Wow. Was she a Mormon?
I don't think she was a Mormon.
I don't think she was a Mormon, but she grew up in a very conservative house, like a very ultra conservative house. And swearing was just not in her vernacular at all.
Yeah. So welcome, Jen. Thanks for joining us.
I actually think that's another cool characteristic of this film is that this is a movie that's definitely targeted at a teenage audience. This is a very dark comedy about teenagers, for teenagers, with plenty of really filthy language.
Yes.
And that you didn't see in, say, a John Hughes movie.
Right.
Well,
I mean, John Hughes would get edgy. There's no questioning some of the shit that he put in his movies.
But they took it up a notch, dude.
They totally took it up. That the way they curse, I remember being really surprised. Like one of the first lines in the beginning of the movie, somebody says, "Fuck me gently with a chainsaw." I was like, "What the fuck?" That is so. That just seemed extremely adult for a child in high school.
That became a catchphrase for a little
while.
Yeah,
it did.
I was shocked when I heard that because I was like, "Oh my god, these kids are acting so freaking grown up." I don't know. I thought
and it's really important to point that out, which is by today's standards, this is nothing that crazy, but nothing like this had been seen in 1988. This broke new ground, to use the cliche. No one had done this.
It didn't just break new ground; it actually got protested in some places.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
People don't really like us joking about kids killing themselves.
No.
It's not a thing that anyone
As it turns out, it's
immediately
a touchy
into.
subject.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a touchy subject. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't bring it up on your first date, whatever you do.
Yeah. No one wants to be fucked with a chainsaw. No one wants to outlive their kid to suicide. It's just, this is not funny. It's not funny.
We immediately get the distancing from the parents and how completely unaware they are, how aloof and useless they are.
Uninvolved, ineffectual.
Yeah, just completely useless. And
they're not making eye contact.
Nope.
And every time you see them, they're eating.
Pate.
Yeah, well, it's. I mean, one of the things I really noticed watching this movie as as an adult, was all the visual symbolism this movie is so heavy on. When you
great
meet
art
her,
direction.
yeah, and not just great art direction, but just the visual symbolism. You meet her parents and they're eating. Like they're devouring.
Language. Yeah,
and
there's
they
character
don't make
building.
they don't make any eye contact with her hardly at all. Just little glimpses, but just small little, like, basically fake moments of.
It's not just
connection.
that every line tells you a story. It's everything in the scene.
The facial tics
is there to tell you a story.
Yeah.
Nothing is wasted. There's nothing superfluous.
No, there's not an ounce of fat on this whole film. Everything that you see and hear has been carefully thought out.
Dude, when you meet his father,
yes,
you should notice that his father is always leaving the room or on a treadmill. He is always moving away from his son.
He's always moving, period. Like
yeah.
he's always
like a shark.
Yeah, he's got the hand grip squeezer things, whatever they're supposed to be for. He's on a treadmill, he's moving. He's so focused in on his own life.
Yeah.
That he has no idea that his son's, a psychopath.
Become like him.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
exactly.
Let's go. Let's get a little story catch up here. I'm sorry, Wizard. We're going to get to it, but I just want to make sure everybody knows what we've been watching is the top Heather number 1, the red Heather, the Heather in charge, has decided to bring Veronica to her first college party. And I'm sure not particular to Midwest Ohio, but this really feels Ohio. High school girls, sneaking out to go to a college party to hook up with, like, seriously the geekiest, skeeziest college kids in the
bracket, not even geekiest, but just the dumbest,
just the skeeziest, skeeziest, nastiest of the guys in college, and like that. Yeah, and this is like next level. Like this is how she is so popular, because she goes to college parties. And then she has been so taken with his firing of blanks at the jocks in the cafeteria that when she sees him, they immediately start interacting.
We kind of glossed over that moment where you have like a very real interaction that I've had in high school, where the jocks are just coming over to ruin your day. It's pretty realistic when it starts, and we see Christian Slater's character just whip out a revolver and fire a couple of blanks in their faces. So then the tone has changed.
And one thing I noticed, just want to throw this in real quick, is when I was rewatching this, they throw out a homophobic slur a lot. And when you watch it today, it's it really has more impact than when you watch this
more jarring.
Movie. Yeah, it's more today. Jarring. But I do remember that when the movie, was for me, as when I watched it younger, and I had bullies or jocks in high school throw that word at me.
Of course,
more than once.
I had them throw a lot.
That was going on in the 70s.
That was a go-to back.
Yeah,
in those
that was
days.
a go-to.
That was a total go-to, and I'm sure in some places and plenty of circles it still is.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is. But back then it was, I think, thrown around a lot more casually.
Yes.
Like a lot of terms.
Oh yeah. Yeah, actually, it's interesting that you guys bring that up. That was like this. That has more of a jarring impact nowadays. I think there's a lot of the stuff like that in this movie that I think is more jarring right now. I mean, as a father of teenagers, my kids have come home early because of shutdowns due to weapons being at the school. You know, kids committing suicide in high school. I've had more than one letter letting me know that a kid at the school committed suicide. And so yeah, it was like, to me, it's like, it's honestly, it's more jarring. And I actually, instead of me not appreciating the movie for it or thinking it's cheap or in bad taste, I actually appreciate it more because I think it's gutsy as hell. You know, to go ahead and like, we're gonna do a dark comedy and we're gonna go really dark about stuff that really happens in high school.
And I think a lot of at this time period, when we were getting nothing but John Hughes movies and things like that, and people were kind of accepting it at that as face value, as this is what the teenagers of America are like today, when really a lot of it was closer to true in this movie.
High school's a lot meaner than we had shown in media prior to this. High school is a very mean place.
I mean, they're like
these people are very real. I knew.
No, when we
I knew all of these people.
When you meet those jocks, it's a little uncanny how well they sell jock and how their dialogue is very, very high school jock like for this time period and where it's set, of Midwest Ohio, Podunk, Ohio. Where I've been to a Podunk, Ohio school more than one, actually, but I remember when I watched that documentary about Woodstock 99, the one that like went totally off the fucking rails. What really got me with that documentary was every time they showed a dude like totally like in the throes of everything he was doing, like the drinking, the women, everything, and he's
the
like
fire,
the fire,
the rape.
It was so familiar. I grew up on OSU campus. I became an adult on OSU campus. I have smelled tear gas because of partying frat boys. Like, it was so fucking familiar, it bothered me. I didn't want to keep watching it. I did pause in the scene here because there's more visual representation. Veronica, who is like feeling a little destructive right now, starts playing with fire. She then throws the fire outside the window where it falls in the trash and starts a bigger fire, which is just like,
and again, great symbolism.
Yes.
Great graphic language.
Yeah.
Good storytelling.
We're introduced to just like a moment of self-loathing with the red heather, just in this one moment. And then this is the truth. This scene right here about what they're doing. High school girls going to a college party.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Only not all of them are as strong-willed as Veronica. Most of them are Heather.
Most of them are Heather. Yeah.
And
where there's a reward that has nothing to do with their interaction with this guy.
No, and there's a certain expectations of behavior for the high school girls at the frat party. So yeah. And like, it's a frat, so even the guys who are in the frat that don't do this stuff, there's code of silence.
They're complicit.
She wears a monocle, and at first it's charming, but I feel like by the end of the movie, I'm sick of the monocle.
That was my only real big issue with this entire thing. It was a thing that bothered me. Yeah, it was a thing that bothered me back when I saw it in the theater. I'm like, who the fuck wears a monocle? I don't know how edgy you have to be. That's pretentious as shit.
It's pretentious. I think it's
wears a monocle.
One of the few character quirks that falls short in this movie.
Yeah.
One of very few.
Yeah, and so
they tried to make her cool.
Yeah, and so here she is breaking with Heather because she's not willing to just submit to being date raped by college students. And while they're having this fight, where she says and does things that will have serious repercussions at school later. The fire that she started earlier that night is raging between them. And then, man, we got an old banner somewhere back here about fucking. We're gonna use this one tonight. Where'd it go? You guys talk while I look for this banner.
How about those Heathers?
Oh, it's gone. Well, it talked about 80s stalking being romance, blah blah.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. It was there it is. There we go. Boom. There it is.
Whoa.
So
it is so romantic. I don't know why it's out of style.
So apparently Maine Heather was dating Christian Slater before they started the movie.
That's
and then
true.
Christian Slater dumped her while filming and went and hooked up with Winona Ryder, and they started
As you
dating.
should. As
Well,
you should.
He missed
If you
his,
have the opportunity.
he missed his calling as a casting agent.
Apparently.
You can call it.
Yep.
I mean, Winona Ryder is pretty much the pinnacle of cool subculture chick in movies after Beetlejuice and this. And
Well, this movie is no accident. The writer of Beetlejuice was friends with Daniel Waters, and he loved the script for Heathers, and he surreptitiously snuck that script to Winona Ryder. Winona Ryder, who has just had her life has just been touched by a suicide in high school, where she saw someone who wasn't popular take their own life and then be used as a popularity contest among people who used to pick on her. It really bothered her. Then the script arrives in her life.
Yeah.
And
she
yes.
had to beg. She had to like her manager, her agent, or whoever it was, begged her not to do this movie. Right?
She fired him soon after.
And she's like, "Nope, I'm doing it." He was convinced that this movie was going to be the end of her career.
Yeah.
And it was a
female agent.
Oh, was it? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, but she did get on her hands and knees.
She's
in
like
front of her.
begged her not to do this movie because she thought it would be a career ender based on how dark the material was. And she was like, "Nope, doing it." And honestly, I guess, career instinct wise for Winona Ryder, she's pretty been on par with so many of the roles that she has had over her career.
Yeah.
And when you think back on her career, you look at the ones that were kind of iffy, they're all ones that really don't fit her at all. When she's trying to be the norm, it doesn't suit her.
She is kind of a character actor, no disrespect.
No, I think she's great.
But you play in Winona Ryder. That's your best,
No, that's a compliment. If you can pull anything out, that people love and enjoy and want to see again, then go ahead and take the check.
Yeah, do it. And I do completely agree with Barbara that, when she's on, familiar footing that matches her personality, this character, she will tell you that this character chimed in with her specifically. That is why she's so good in this movie. And they were looking for someone who looked more like a Heather, and they didn't like her for it. So when she goes across the street to Macy's, and she gets the full-on makeover so that she can go back and just be like, "Look, don't even pay me," which they paid her scale. Everyone on this movie got paid scales. Cheap-ass movie. She's like, "Don't even pay me. Just let me be in this movie and be this person." So
wow.
Yeah, she wasn't going to take no for an answer, even though they had already offered it to Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, they offered it to Jennifer Connelly. They actually wrote the script with her in mind.
Oh God, but that would have been a disaster.
Yeah.
This is
Thank you,
not
Captain
Jennifer
Obvious.
Well,
Connelly.
this is coming on the heels of The Rocketeer.
Right. But still,
And
I think she's terrible in that. So
The Rocketeer was supposed to be so much bigger.
yeah,
Oh,
it was.
clearly.
It bombed, didn't it? I mean, that was like a
Yeah, it wasn't great.
It
Calm down.
wasn't the it wasn't the
Adam
yeah.
does, but
It wasn't the cultural zeitgeist they were hoping
No.
it would be,
No.
which is why it had lunchboxes and shit. So
well, I mean, Winona Ryder is so much better having her, especially if it was like a passion project for her. Like she just hit it out of the park. And I remember, I mean, I just thought Winona Ryder was so cool. Like, when I was a young teenager in the early 90s, I mean, totally original celebrity crush, without a doubt. Yeah. She was like, I think I read somewhere, and someone coined her as like the freaky it girl, and I was like, okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
She was only 16 when she made this movie.
Yeah. She baked, but she worked really hard to get this role, and I did want to pause it for a second, just so that we could get caught up on the story beats real quick, because we did kind of like just talk right through it. But they're going back to nurse her from her hangover, and initially her thought was, I'm gonna go there and beg for forgiveness, but new bad boy boyfriend is like, no. Let's make her a hangover concoction that will, actually make her even sicker. And so she was like mixing milk and orange juice. And he's like, no, just go with Drano. And then does she accidentally grab the Drano instead of the milk and orange juice? Or is it a subconscious thing? Hard to say. Either way, Heather number one, the red Heather, is now drank Drano, and she smashes in a glass table. More wonderful imagery from Heather's. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's worth noting that he knows.
Mhm.
And
He knew.
chooses not to stop her.
He
Yeah.
knew going in that she had picked the wrong glass. So
No.
for him, it's more of a conscious decision.
yeah.
And so like they she panics, and he comes up with a scheme like, well, we'll just frame it as a suicide.
Yep. And thus is what I'm assuming happens in every episode of the supposed Heather's TV show. They just kill a different person at high school. That's like, could you do that
Until they run out of kids? What? I mean,
I kind of want to do that now.
Oh my God, you killed Kenny.
Yeah.
You bastard.
Anyway, they write a suicide note together. Look, the bell jar. What does that tell you?
oh my God. I think that
That's the Cliff's notes.
no, it's the cliff notes of the bell jar. I was like, oh my God.
Can you imagine reading the cliff notes of the bell jar? Like, what?
You have to be, I mean,
A Heather.
What is?
a
Yeah,
Heather.
you have to be
Yes.
a Heather. You have to be a Heather. That's a good point.
I love that though, that it was the Cliff's
The
notes.
Cliff's notes of Sylvia Plath.
Yeah.
And this is a nice, I don't know. To me, it's a nice little plot device that, because she's the writer, she's able to write in so many people's voices,
Yeah.
And handwriting. She can
and
mimic
handwriting. Yeah,
handwriting.
she's great at forgery.
As they established in that opening prank,
Right.
where a note is slipped to Martha Dunstock, a romantic letter from the football captain,
Yeah.
because she can do the football captain's handwriting, which, outside of high school, you wouldn't think that she would know, but you're in high school. Everyone knows what everyone's handwriting looks like. So maybe there's a little bit of
Yes,
context
I
lost.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Because it's brought up later.
Right, yeah. And they really, I mean, like they just have this great little back and forth. It's like, no, they're really thinking about this.
Mhm.
And it's just, I don't know, as a word nerd, I just appreciated that deliberation.
Yes.
And then,
Yeah.
like it comes, like the English teacher is like, good use of the word myriad.
I was so proud that she was able to have a correct use of the word myriad.
Yeah.
Because she's the one who would remember, right? She's the one who gave her the bad grade. Yeah. So,
Right.
And she, that actress and that character, what a wonderful pairing. The fucking English teacher who we're about to meet. Man, not her.
I love that they're all smoking.
There she is.
Yes.
No, she's not the English teacher. She's the art teacher, I think.
Oh, she's the art teacher.
Yeah, this is the art teacher.
Oh, this is the art. Oh, okay. Well, I
Yeah,
misunderstood.
Because
a great
she's
character.
She is the flaky art teacher who wants everybody to hug.
Right.
Or so it would appear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has that wonderful line.
You can tell what he thinks of her.
Yeah. Committing suicide is the most important decision a teenager could make.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's so good.
So Gravy, do you remember that principal from True Stories? Anybody else a huge fan of True Stories?
I really remember that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. He's the one who sings Puzzle and Evidence, the preacher.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. His voice is not as gravelly in this film, which makes me think that David Byrne had him ham it up. You know.
Yeah.
You got to see me, yes.
So there's one of our random
ABC.
freaks. One of our random freaks just came into scene to deliver
the stoner girl.
Yes,
Yay, stoner girl.
I have to tell you this story about this scene that was omitted. Winona Ryder is upset. Her character's upset, so she takes a shower with her clothes on. It's kind of a freak out. Other girls in the locker room see her doing this and
follow suit.
And they follow suit. Yes, exactly. They do the exact same thing because they're like, oh, she's doing it. We're going to do it.
It's the cool thing to do.
Yeah. And then these idiot frat boys, or not frat boys, but the football guys from high school are like peeking in to see them in the shower, and they see them with all their clothes on and they get upset.
I'm glad we could cut that out.
Yeah. I don't know. It sounds kind of funny to me. It's a good gag. It's a good gag. Yeah. They're frat boys before the frat.
It's not a bad gag. It just, I don't think it fits in this exactly.
Yeah. I totally thought that once. Yeah.
The fact that all the other girls were doing it because she was doing it.
Yeah, that part.
It's
I would get even though I know what they're doing with the cliques and the way they portray this high school, I would have gotten along a lot better in this high school than the Podunk, Ohio high school that I went to. Because I graduated from a high school called Fort Hayes in Columbus, which was like an arts magnet. So I had no sports, and I got to do like 3 periods of band, and it was a lot easier of a high school environment. But my freshman, I was in Hamilton Township, Ohio, and that was like super podunk. Football boys rule the world place, and that is why Heather speaks to me so much. Is like I've had just this real experience with these guys in this movie.
Oh yeah, I was high school in West Texas where high school football is not a religion. It's more important than that.
Yeah, and here's the dad again. First time you meet him, he is walking away from his son the entire time they're talking.
Their living room is full of workout equipment.
Mhm.
Yeah,
This is the common area.
yeah, it's sterile, and it's weird.
And you could tell that he was kind of a jock too, because he's still wearing that sort of workout gear type of thing.
Yeah,
jumpsuit.
Yeah,
he's cooler than his father. Let's say it.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do kind of like his dad when he talks about blowing up
Cobras.
those cobras. Jesus Christ, those cobras.
I know. I'd pay.
I want them in my life.
We all do.
Honey badger don't care.
Oh, those cobras. Okay.
Yeah, they have a really
again,
weird.
now you're as a juxtaposition, you're gonna meet her parents again. And what are they doing? They're not looking at her. They're
not looking at her. They're looking,
and they are devouring.
And we have our little ritual. Dad says something that has nothing to do with what anyone else is talking, and she says he's an idiot.
And you're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
Oops.
I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. The script is tight. Tight.
Yeah.
This
Great
visual
podcast,
representation is tight. And here he is,
Oh,
Glenn
there he
Shattuck,
is,
ladies and
Glenn.
gentlemen, and everyone else. There he is. We love you, buddy.
This was like only his second big thing, too.
Oh my God, his star was on the rise, and then he fell. He fell alone in his apartment and died.
Oh
just
man,
as
really?
his phone was ringing off the hook.
Oh,
such a fucking heartbreaker. One of his final films was with Tim Burton, The Corpse Bride, right? Or no, not
Nightmare.
The Corpse Bride.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's in Nightmare. Yeah, but,
that's terrible.
We love you,
R.I.P.
Glenn.
Otho.
We love you, Glenn, and you are definitely, you joined the ranks of Roddy McDowell as a patron saint of Total Recall. You belong here.
One of us. One of us.
This is great set piece. Everybody talking to the corpse of the most popular girl in school.
Yeah, this is a great scene. Everybody's little in their head voiceovers of what they're thinking. They're saying to Heather in the casket. It's like you kind of realize all these people pretty much suck.
Yeah, and they all hated her.
They're terrible.
They're all vapid. Yeah, self-centered.
This is a very well filmed church. It's a real church, but it's a very.
I'm sure it's a Presbyterian. Church.
It's I don't know if it's Presbyterian, but it's a church up in Pasadena.
It's probably Presbyterian or Lutheran, if I had to guess.
Here she's in blue, bruised. I don't know. When you were in high school, if a woman you were attracted to was like, come have sex with me with your best friend at 6 a.m. out in the woods.
Out in the woods. Yeah.
Do you think you would do it? Would you do it?
Hell no.
I would have been scared to death. Yeah, I would have been terrified.
I'm not a dumb jock.
No, that's a no from me.
I'm not a jock. Though, so
it reeks of a setup.
Their brains work differently.
Yeah.
You can't do that with your nerd brain and think what a jock would respond.
Yeah.
I think I know some that would have gone, hell yeah. Hook, line, and sinker.
That's fair. I'm not thinking with my nerd jock brain. I am thinking with my
I think when
girl
I was in
feelings.
high school, I would have been too scared.
I think so too.
Oh, I wouldn't have believed it and been too scared both at the same time.
But jocks were a lot braver than I was. And oh my God, cow tipping. First and
dumber.
foremost, never tip a cow.
Brave is one word.
I don't know why you would want to tip a cow, but it can kill a cow. So don't tip a cow.
It can kill you too.
Also, yeah, it's much more likely to kill you.
It's a real thing too.
Cows.
This is like honest to God farm boy shenanigans.
Yeah, and also like this is a date that Veronica has agreed to be on with stupid Heather. Stupid Heather, who's Yellow Heather, is like kind of becoming a little clingier and more pathetic in the wake of Red Heather dying. And so, like, you know, here she is, I don't know, maybe going out on a date with Red Heather's former boyfriend. Like, how exactly does that hierarchy work? But Veronica is saying, like, you know, she is already seeing Christian Slater's character, JD, clearly named after our nation's most popular vice presidential candidate.
It's not juvenile delinquent.
No, they wanted JD Salinger they wanted Catcher in the Rye to be featured in this movie, but
the book that they all carry around that Heather always carried around is in the movie is Moby Dick, but they wanted it to be Catcher in the Rye, but JD Salinger refused.
Yeah,
and so they grabbed Moby Dick because it was public domain.
Yeah,
would have been a little on the nose to use Salinger, I think.
I think so as well, and I also think that JD, in general, for either James Dean or JD Salinger, is too on the nose. But this movie, like, one of the things I learned about it, it's not subtle. You know, like watching it as an adult, this is not even remotely subtle. You know,
they weren't
like,
beating around the bush at all. No,
not even a little bit. And as Gravy was saying, this is something real that people do. So she's going on
right now. I would not be surprised if I found out that J.D. Vance had in fact tipped a cow in his time.
Oh, if it's not in his book, it's probably because his editor told him you can't kill animals in your books. Sorry, you know, we're going to put it in the same pile. We're going to put it in the same pile as the couch fucking scene.
Well, couch fucking's a lot more humane.
Yeah.
There's no victim.
Also, like, you know, I kind of, you know, I'm not against fucking a couch. I'll put it that way. Okay, it's not beyond me.
I've thought about it.
So anyway, we've got,
and that's when Total Recall took a horrible turn.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for sharing.
Wow.
I'm glad you feel
gotta
like you're in
go
the same
now.
stage.
We are having such a focused discussion.
Will we talk about cake farting before the show?
I think we need to keep the slides moving.
Did we watch a movie this week? I can't recall.
I got
it. She is not willing to just have sex with rando dude after cow tipping fun. She is leaving.
She is leaving,
which is good because
80s stalker romance. Yeah, 80s stalker romance has arrived. And here he is date raping her. Yeah. She's passed out.
Yeah, she's
passed out.
Date raped.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But date rape followed by stalking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
So romantic.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
What I like about it is a harbinger, though, because you know, we are soon to realize that he is not. He's not the guy you want him to be.
No.
Well, he's kind of too good to be true if you're unhappy.
Yes, and he is about to reveal himself that way, but he already is.
Yeah.
With the stalking and the danger.
This guy's from something, right? No, we talked about it. We couldn't figure out what he was from, or we figured it out.
He is so familiar. I don't think we ever looked up his name.
We all thought he was
from
Argot,
Space Camp. I thought he was from
he might
Space
be
Camp.
from Die Hard.
That's what I thought.
It's not the same guy.
No.
Okay.
No, that is not.
We're just reliving a microaggression we enjoyed while we were watching this. Okay.
Man, there are some great facial expressions in this movie.
Dude, everyone, like,
slideshow.
That's the thing, is that it's tightly edited, so you don't get the sense while you're watching it of how ham-fisted every single motherfucker in this movie is. but boy, they like everyone is wearing it on their sleeve. Just
Well, and it all happens fast. It's
it all happens fast.
Pace.
And that's what I realized this time through about Christian Slater's performance. Is it's intentional. It's because it is so stylized, and everything in this movie is that stylized.
Yes.
Okay,
every delivery of every line.
Oh, Gravy wants to get us caught up on the plot.
Oh yeah,
Please
so
do.
in the light of her rejection of jock sex, she that jock spread a really nasty rumor all over school that I can't remember specifically what it was, but
she gave a double blowjob.
Yeah. And so now they're setting up a big prank. This is like what we were talking about before. She called him up and said, "Hey, I want you and Ram to meet me at dawn so we can do it."
To receive said double blowjob.
For real.
Yeah.
For real.
Okay.
But what they're really going to do is shoot the guys with what Christian Slater's character JD refers to as ichfalugi. But he asks her first, "Do you know German?" And she's like, "No, I don't know German." He's like, "Well, these are ichfalugi bullets."
Yeah.
Ichfalugi in
means,
German means I lie.
I'm lying.
Ah, clever.
So
yeah.
So this is like I think the most strained the movie gets at this point, believing that she'll go for this.
Again, I think the same thing with the mug. The whole point is she wants to actually kill these people. Don't you?
Sure.
Don't
and
you
he
want to
knows.
shoot these fucking assholes?
Yeah,
They
and he knows it.
suck.
It's a
And
little
he
painful.
tells her that.
It's a little painful watching her talk herself into this, though.
Yeah.
For me, it's the toughest scene in the movie, but overall, not a huge problem. It's not a deal breaker.
So the bedroom sets here and the one for Heather earlier, these were all built inside the gym of the high school that they were filming at.
So in a way, they are sound stages. Yeah.
It struck me a couple days ago that this is very much a comic book.
Yeah. Kind of a youth novel feel to it.
But also, like, every scene is like a panel in a comic book.
Visually, yes.
Everything is a place, and we've got the colors, and we're setting a mood, and nothing is wasted because you only have so many panels on the page.
I love that they walk up behind her as she's putting the gun in her waistband from behind.
Like, hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? We're here for our double blowjobs. Yeah.
And I don't think it's a mistake how homoerotic their rumor was.
Oh no, not at all. Because it's their darkest fear.
All right. Well. Yeah, that's my pre-fuck face right there.
They're not kidding.
Yeah. And then he shoots him with ichfalugi bullets, but she misses, and she's like, "Oh, whatever, it's fine." She didn't really want to kill someone, but he has to chase her down because guess what? They're really dead.
Yeah, can't have a witness.
And
he's running on his bum knee.
Poor guy.
Yeah. And once
I feel so bad for him.
Once they kill these two, they make it look like a gay double suicide because they, writing a letter that no one would accept their love for one each other. And
I love that they frame it with things like mineral water.
Mineral water, yes. Like that's what you would be like,
right?
Let's fuck in the woods, and I'm gonna bring the mineral.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Mineral water.
Hey, a little off topic, but I didn't realize there was such an age difference between Winona Ryder and Johnny Depp. Well, they're 10 years. Johnny Depp's 10 years older than she is.
Mhm.
Well, that makes their relationship at this time really inappropriate, doesn't it?
Kind of seems that way.
16 and 26, 18 and
Perhaps
28.
a tiny bit
Not real
creepy.
appropriate. Yeah, real
Gross.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit.
And the
Yes,
cops,
mandatory.
the cops drop some more homophobic slurs as they talk about what's going on, and
As they would.
yeah, and yeah, it seems like an anti-cop thing in this context, and I'm not saying that when this movie was made it wasn't, but I do think that there's just a level where that word was being dropped a lot more often, you know. So it's not, it maybe comes across today as more anti-cop than it even meant to be, you know. Like they're both really playing up being very stupid.
Well, it's the same way that the kids see the parents or any other adult figures. So I don't feel like they're taking a particular shot at cops. It's just authority figures in general. The teachers are stupid. The parents are stupid. The cops are stupid. So.
Yeah. But these cops are terrible. Oh, I hate them.
They are bad cops. They are bad at their job.
I feel like they were cast a little too young, but
that's a small town. That's a small town.
I thought they had, they definitely used them for a few laughs. You know, even the way the cop was like chasing Christian Slater, like it's just super goofy.
Yeah,
good for a chuckle. But they're idiots. Yeah.
No, this movie never goes too far without a gag or a joke or you know.
No time.
Yeah, a quip,
get it all in.
A pun, visual communication.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a nice moment actually. Where else would they go except for the school parking lot to sleep until morning?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now here she is. This is important to remember. Very upset about what's going on and trying to get back in touch with reality. So she burns her hand with the car lighter, the coiled car lighter.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make those anymore. But
God, I miss them.
That was the thing back in the day. And she burns her hand with it. He stops her from doing it, but then he uses her hand to light a cigarette.
Yep.
Like you would.
Great 1-2 punch though, because
yeah.
The moment it starts to get too dark, they play an actual decent gag right on the back of it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't come off the other way around. It doesn't come off like she did it so that he could do the cigarette gag. It comes off very naturally, and it's good pacing and good timing.
Yeah. And they had to write a new ending, and the ending harkens back to that, but we'll discuss that when we get there. But yeah, there was a much better ending for this movie than what we wound up with. We'll talk about it. And now everyone's getting the day off school. They're going to go full day for a double gay homicide.
Suicide.
Double suicide, yeah.
Well, someone had to kill someone.
No,
double suicide. You either do each other at the same time or you do yourself.
Yeah.
Actually, perhaps on purpose to show off terrible police work, the bullet in each one's chest is
best line in the movie.
Love my dead gay son.
And fucking progressive for 88, man. At a time when people
it's like the one sweet, like actually sweet moment.
Yeah.
It feels very Kids in the Hall. Like you could totally just see Scott Thompson throwing that line down in a bad toupee.
But truth be told, he's the good parent, you know? Like he's in the moment.
Finally.
Yeah.
Oh, this was another of my favorite lines though.
What's that?
My bullshit teen angst has a body count.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like a Nirvana lyric.
It does.
It does.
Nirvana was
There's a-
heavily influenced by Heathers.
There you go.
I wouldn't doubt it. You got the CBS. And so now the art teacher is rising to prominence because she has gotten the kids on TV.
She's got feelings
by doing kumbaya shit.
She's in touch with her feelings.
Yeah.
No, this is when they decide to let her do that.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Yeah, like.
So she's about to get the kids on TV.
Yeah.
Which is when you realize her whole agenda was not kumbaya shit.
Teenage suicide. Don't do it. Teenage suicide.
Remember that hit?
Mm-hmm.
Big fun.
You saw
Big fun. But it was based off of that. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like I Barbara and I do good research, so sometimes we step on each other's lines.
Imagine being prepared.
That's okay. But I do want to hear. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead with it.
Oh, it was a spoof because of the Queen song, "Don't Try Suicide."
Don't try suicide. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is ham-fisted as fuck.
Nobody gives a damn.
But God bless him for trying.
Can't hit everyone out of the park.
Yeah. Here he is talking with Martha Dumpstock. And she's, doing the kumbaya shit for the cameras.
That is still one of my favorite lines from this movie, and it's coming up.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Oh, God, I love that line so much.
This movie, like, it goes back to the same places, but it finds ways to make them different. And that is really obvious when there's dream sequences where, again, just like the gel lighting is different, you know. Oh, here comes Dad on the move. Here he is.
The only time he's happy.
Yep. He imploded the building.
This was a real building that they blew up.
They picked a cherry for the movie.
Well, yeah, they went in and found news stock footage, and this was a building that went down in like Tennessee or something like that, and they used it.
Look at that couch. Ugh. Yeah, everything about that.
It makes its own noise. Yeah.
I like how there's stuff in boxes sitting around. Like these guys are move and relocate so much they never even bother to unpack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and two guys. Why would they bother?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy story about his mom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like
himself
waving from the window in that building.
He gets the army brat vibe without the army, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Dad's a psychotic killer either way.
Yeah. Either
and JD reveals himself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is the moment of truth where he really wants to go full Bonnie and Clyde, and she can't do it.
Well, and then he tries to force himself on her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. But she's not going to get treated like that from anybody.
Well, maybe. Oh, it just adds so much to the movie knowing that Shannon has no idea what's happening. It just adds so much.
Mm-hmm.
It did on the second viewing because, of course, I didn't know this at the time watching it, you know?
Yeah, no,
going back and knowing it now, it does make it a little bit better.
Yeah.
The only criticism I have of this movie is kind of getting into this phase of the narrative. It does slog and prod just a little bit before the finale for me during this time.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a healthy breath for sure.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, basically JD and Veronica have broken up. Now we need some sort of mechanism to continue the narrative, and he decides to influence Green Heather to become usurp Red Heathers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but he already has his plan to have her.
Has she given her the red scrunchie yet? I can't remember.
No,
Not
she
yet.
just took it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
this
she
is
did.
it. This is the red scrunchie scene. Well, he just gave it to her.
He gave her a red scrunchie, and then she's going to get another red scrunchie.
Yeah. She's looking in her locker, and she's going to show up and just take shit that she wants. And the red scrunchie also plays a part in the ending that they had to rewrite. Because this movie's ending was even too fucking extreme for an already just a $3 billion New World cinema film. You know, it was still too much. It was
a different time. You realize?
It was yes.
Oh, by the way,
here is Veronica
cat on the lap.
To buy her.
Oh, kitty!
What's up?
Cat alert!
Oh, cat alert!
Cat on my lap.
Oh.
But the Betty and Veronica, because her name's Betty, was a direct pull from the Archie comics.
Archie.
I like this girl. I think she's great.
Is cat gone?
Yeah.
Hey, there's kitty cat. Kitty. Anyone who wants to be on camera,
right?
just bring out your cat. Okay. How do I get my controls? Boom! There we go. Okay. I'm going slow.
Hey, y'all! I'm gonna have to tap out. I'm super tired. Yeah.
How are you gonna vote?
You have to vote now.
Well, this is an easy one. It's a yes, of course. This movie's a classic.
Jeremy says yes. Okay.
It's a yes,
all
folks.
Right. Well, once again, we're going to be picking a movie in your absence. Sorry about that, but you'll find out the hard way what you'll be watching.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hang on. You'll want to hear this last little bit of trivia that I'm going to give you. Betty, in real life, her name was Renee Estevez. And yes,
from
she's one
the
of those.
Estevez family?
The Estevez acting family.
Dynasty.
Martin Sheen, Emilio, Charlie.
I noticed that in the credits, and I was wondering. Thank you, Barbara.
Yep.
Awesome.
Wow.
And now you can go to bed. Your knowledge is complete.
Yay. My life is improved.
Teenage suicide, my friend. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
I'll do my best not to.
Don't.
All right. Good night, guys.
Be careful.
Good night.
Good
Bye.
Bye.
See you, Jeremy.
All right.
Big fun.
He hates Avatar, so we're gonna watch Avatar.
I hate Avatar too.
I'm just kidding.
I've never seen Avatar, and I'd like to keep it that way. Thank you very much.
You should. You should.
No.
True story.
It's a hill I will die on.
So, Veronica is getting really fed up because she, broke up with her boyfriend. Everyone is using these suicides as a media, blitzkrieg. And now here is Dunstock committing an actual suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Well, attempting suicide.
Yeah. Attempting, yes.
Seems like an answer to her problems at the moment.
Yeah. And I do want to say, her friend Betty Finn, who's supposed to be too nerdy for cool, she's like the most attractive lady in this whole movie, man.
Yeah, she's really pretty.
You're not wrong.
And for once, her parents are staring at her. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you pointed out, yeah, you're right. Because they're pretending to be concerned, and they watched they read a pamphlet from the church, and
They saw something on the news. And they were like,
yeah,
"That's my daughter on the news. Must be
They're-
important."
asking all the right questions.
What's your damage?
The slang in this movie was mostly written by the screenwriter because he wanted it to be timeless.
Oh, okay.
People were not saying "What's your damage?" or "Fuck me gently with the chainsaw"
Or fetch.
or "Fetch." Yeah,
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Fetch happens, man. Fetch happens.
Fetch is not happening.
I'm comfortable with "Fetch."
Anywho,
Oh, and this guy. Okay,
It's
go
the
ahead, Jeff.
lifeline. He's the lifeline guy. This is the
He's the
lifeline
Loveline.
guy.
He's the
Love line
Lovelines,
guy.
yeah.
It's
Loveline.
the actual love line guy.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
So yeah, Hot Probs was based off of K-Rock's Love Line, and that guy, Poor Man, was the original show, the actual show.
Isn't it funny how everyone's into Big Fun and yet you never actually hear Big Fun? You hear it on the radio for like 1 second, but
Mhm.
everyone's
What's-
acknowledging Big
What's
Fun.
funny is at the beginning, Martha is wearing a Big Fun shirt, and you
Yes.
think that it's just like an ironic T-shirt for her because she's big, and then you find out about the band later.
Yeah. And here
This
is
girl lied about her age.
yeah. She is way too old for this part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way
She
too
was 23 and she told them that she had just turned 18.
Yeah.
Heather Graham auditioned for that part, and her parents
An
wouldn't let her
actual
take
Heather.
the yes.
Wow.
And her parents wouldn't let her take it because she was still a minor. And they said, no, it's too dark. We're not going to let you do this movie.
And that had worked.
Wow.
And
I
then
think
she
that'd
did
work.
Boogie Nights.
And then she did Boogie Nights.
That's
Yep.
true.
Talk about dark.
Well, see what happens when you move out.
Well, she did a lot of
I
stuff before.
think
Boogie
she was
Nights.
a little older by that point.
Yeah.
I know.
The process.
She wasn't supposed to be, but yeah.
And
Ugh.
so again,
That's gross.
real life suicide is being inspired by the events that JD and Veronica have
Mhm.
engaged in. And so Veronica is having to clean house, try and get people to stop killing themselves because everything they've said is bullshit,
Yeah.
Yeah, if she really wanted to sacrifice something meaningful for a friend, she would smash that fucking monocle. Fuck that monocle. Get that thing out of here.
Does
Doesn't
that
belong.
bother anybody?
I don't like it anymore.
I don't like it. I've never
It does
liked
not bother me.
You should
Yeah, it
burn.
doesn't bother
that's what
me
you
either.
should be burning.
I'm not gonna
It's
lie.
so
There's times I've wanted a monocle.
I think the Monopoly Man had a pretty cool look.
I feel like
So did
as a-
Mr. Peanut. Doesn't
feel like-
belong on a teenage girl, okay?
if you didn't want to wear glasses all the time as a practical means, I could see its use. But
And I don't.
Yeah, but
Hogan.
okay.
I'm supposed to wear glasses right now, and I don't.
That's all right. You've already watched this movie.
It's close enough.
Okay, and so yes, Green Heather has made a transition to Red Heather in connection with what was it? Slaves of Lust? Is that the fucking Slaves of Lust?
Gates of Flesh.
Slaves of Flesh. Slaves of Flesh.
Gates of Slaves.
Gates of Flesh.
Gates of Flesh. The Gates of Slaves. The Gates of
The
Flesh.
hooker movie. We got it.
The Flesh of Slaves.
Let me check my notes.
The
Flesh
Slave of
Gate.
Slaves. Flushgate 2000.
Wow.
Okay, so
Talk about
yeah,
dark.
this is the real moment with the art teacher, where she is called on her
Yes.
bullshit, and like at this point in time, Veronica becomes catharsis for everything. You know,
Mhm.
she goes to this lady and she has her moment with this lady. You know, she already like saved the life of, you know, the follower, and then she chews out the exploiter, and yeah, and then finally she confronts the murderer.
So
She's
there.
raging.
Well,
She's
the
raging.
other.
Mhm.
The other.
They struggle.
Mhm.
JD's a little over the edge at this point.
Just a skosh.
Mm-hmm.
And um
You've got a letter.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's it.
Gauntlet thrown.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh
Yes.
my god.
And again, their attention has changed. You know, he has aroused the parent within them.
Mhm.
The big fun T-shirt, teenage suicide.
Don't
Don't
do it.
It's
What?
it's great. I love it. I
It's
fucking love
catchy
it.
as hell.
It's catchy as hell. I'm not against it.
You know it's true.
I want Awesome Death to cover it. I need my band to write the actual song because I don't think it exists. I was not able to find the full version of
Really?
Teenage Suicide. Yeah.
There
Oh.
probably isn't one.
You should get one of those AI things to do it for you.
But if there's not, then you can make it anything you want.
Don't just dream it. Be it.
Me. So this is the final confrontation before the finale, you know, where things are really, really going awry.
This is the penultimate confrontation.
Yeah. And this has, you know, the weight of their having had a sexual relationship, you know, that's
Oh my gosh.
the, you know, it's a big deal when you're in high school, you know.
It was.
And he is
It's boring now, but
deranged.
Yeah. Well, we can see by the dramatic lighting there. And
yes. Again, this director knows how to, you know, use
yeah.
color.
Yeah.
And the reflection.
What was this?
Every kitchen in this movie is the same kitchen, by the way. So that's how well coloring works in this movie.
That checks out.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that they take stalking as romance to its logical conclusion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In this movie.
Not
It
every
really-
80s movie did that.
No other 80s movies did that. Maybe there were
a lot of John Hughes movies turned it the other way around.
Yeah, exactly.
To be honest.
Yeah.
But for the story to go in this direction, and specifically with like the teen romance that just unravels so monumentally, I just really appreciate it for that.
And here we have a dream sequence funeral where he says Eskimo.
Eskimo.
Eskimo. clearly my favorite line from the film, and I had a shit ton to choose from. You think it's easy picking a single line from this movie?
This scene.
This
Oh my
scene.
gosh.
The 3D glasses.
It's so great.
Yeah.
And it's such a small but super important detail and cheap detail, by the way. You want a bunch of 3D glasses on set, and all you got's red gels and 3D glasses, and you're fucking making it work, man. Boom!
Tim Burton levels of surrealism.
Yeah.
It's great. It totally works.
And
here's my favorite
characters.
line.
Let's hear it.
It's so boring. If I have to sing Kumbaya one more time. So great.
Agreed. I love this scene. I love this exchange between these two. The blue is back big time. Like, she went black for a while, but the blue comes back, you know, like.
I didn't think once he went black that you could, well, whatever.
I'll let you know.
Ah.
Hey, when she's more confident, she's in black, but when she's more wounded, she's in blue.
Yeah, but she always has a little bit of blue no matter what.
I always feel like it's not
and
that
she's fucking monocle.
I always feel like it's I don't feel like it's that she's wounded. I feel like it's a softening of it.
Mm-hmm.
She's not black to her core. She's softened a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Yeah. All right.
I don't know. That's just my interpretation.
No, I like it. I like it. You know, like I agree.
I'll buy it.
Yeah. Did she die with her monocle on? Hard to tell. It would drop.
Why did she live?
It would drop. We don't know. We'll never know.
Sure, I came over here to kill you.
Here's a wonderful monologue from this guy. He does a good job. It's a good monologue, you know. It's a lot of lines for him to be delivering all by himself.
He delivers a good monologue frequently.
Yeah.
Did anyone else see Mr. Robot? I was a big fan of that show.
I have not watched it.
It is on my list of things I need to watch, and I
is it on your Plex?
I think it is, yeah.
I don't know how well it.
The Wild, Wonderful World of Mick, that fucking thing. Oh man. Okay, we're not going to deviate. Okay, keep going.
That's green room chatter, my friend.
Someone take the lead.
I will also say that given the time frame that we are in now versus then, I also thought kind of refreshing that you're seeing teenagers smoking, because that would something that would be shudder immediately if this were done today. But I am of the age where we did smoke. My high school had a smoking section.
We smoked with teachers.
Yeah. Yeah,
Barbara,
me too.
Thank you for mentioning this, because we talked about this in an episode of B-Sides, and I just find it so fascinating that I kind of grew up with the cigarette smoke coming out of the teacher's lounge.
Yeah.
Which I think was the compromise. But you grew up with this other situation.
We had an area in the parking lot.
In the parking lot, right?
Ours wasn't even in the parking lot. It was off the side of the office, the main office. There was a little courtyard area that anybody could gather. It wasn't fenced off. It wasn't locked off. And that's where the teachers went to smoke. That's where the students went to smoke. And it was one of the great equalizers of the campus. It may not have, it may not have been relevant outside of this little courtyard area, because certainly once you stepped past it, you know, all cliches went back to norm. But in that little smoking section, everybody was equal. You bought cigarettes off of people. You got lights from anybody. It was the great equalizer. That little corner of the school.
No, ours was different. That sounds a lot cooler.
It was cooler. I'm sorry.
It does. It sounds a lot cooler.
I mean, it was just such an accepted area too. It was just.
We had this one big area, but only the freaks would go smoke there. Everybody else smoked somewhere else in a different parking lot. But right in front of the office.
Oh yeah,
parking lot.
It was probably a good cross section of freaks.
That was the freaks and stoners area, the rail. And yes, I digress.
Let's get you caught up on the storyline.
I love that they're all at the pep rally, and he's setting up the explosions, and the one stoner girl sneaks down behind the bleachers to light up.
Well, I could speak with experience when I say that if you're under bleachers, you have to smoke a one hit. You can't smoke a whole joint.
No.
That's not going to work out. Like
you're not going back to class. That's for
you're not going back to class. Your best bet is a one hit. You could,
but she's doing it right next to the dynamite that he's taped up there.
Yeah. Well, she's There's so like you can kind of tell that Daniel Waters smoked marijuana because like he gives such special attention to like a lot of stoners in this movie.
Yes.
Like there's many of them, and every time you meet one, you're like, well, yeah, I'd get high with you, sure. Like you seem nice. Like, yeah, I like you.
The stoners are the only cool people in this movie, really.
Yeah, I know. And that's why you never see them. All this melodrama. Guess who's not involved?
The stoners.
We got shit to do, man.
Yeah. So she
drop in every once in a while, deliver some narrative.
Yeah. So she has discovered that he has manipulated the new Red Heather into getting all these signatures onto what is ultimately a mass suicide note. He has decided that he will blow up the entire basketball, the entire gymnasium with all students in it during their prep rally, which is prep rally still a thing? We'll discuss in a moment.
Pep rally, yeah.
Probably.
Man. And he so he's like, this is my big plan, like this is it. And I'm not even clear if he's intending to kill himself, because he talks about the way that society will respond to such a mass suicide.
Or so he hopes.
Yeah. Prep rally.
I don't
Did
know
I do that?
I don't know that he actually is thinking about killing himself versus just killing everybody.
Just killing everyone.
Because he
has
himself
bombs on his chest.
Oh, that's right. But he always, I don't know.
I thought he put those on after. Does he show them before the?
Does he? I don't remember.
That's
no,
not
he
how
doesn't.
I
No, I think he's intending to
as
escape. I think he's intending to escape.
He always comes across as above it all.
Yes.
He's better than these plebes.
Yeah. Well, this is, it's not a 5-star film, right? So things do get a little shaky here and there. I think we can all agree that she accomplishes a feat of gunmanship that if you're not in your mid-50s in wandering out of Turkey to the Olympics.
I'm willing to let it go.
You're not actually capable of. But this is melodrama. We have been setting the stage for over the top for a long, long time. Can I shoot someone's middle finger off? No.
I don't think she was aiming for his middle finger, but she was aiming at him. Come on.
Oh, I think you're.
She's pretty close.
Well, I think it's just a thing. It's just a thing. Just accept it. You don't have to explain it.
It's not nearly as funny if she doesn't do it.
That's true.
You think?
Stoner.
I think it's a better movie without it, in my opinion. I thought we could do some better things with this ending in general. Oh, one of them certainly not the stoner smoking a joint right next to a bomb, And let me just say, if I'm going to die while I'm a high school student, smoking a joint under the bleachers right next to the bomb that kills everyone. So I go first. Chef's kiss. I'm not committing suicide, but if I have to die in high school, what are my other options?
And
Overdose.
Let's be fair, we're not always the most
Car crash. Oh, and the violence and sex sequence. Just want to point out that you get a woman holding a gun and a woman's panty line back to back, because we're done with any subtle symbolism.
Not having it.
Yeah, we are completely guns and crotch shots at this point.
That guy was excited.
Winona Ryder totally gets to chew scenery up. Okay, well, you didn't see it, but his flipping the bird gets shot off.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, good luck actually pulling that off. That's difficult. You're going to shoot Knuckle. His hand's going to be destroyed. He's going to need more than a napkin.
If that's the first thing that shatters your reality.
Well, the monocle really ruined it for Jethro.
I find that the monocle exists in a different universe.
It's not canon for you?
Yeah, it's not canon.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. I'm coming down on this one as pro monocle.
I like
I
it.
want to go on record.
If
What?
I have
Oh my God. We're going there.
Yes.
It's kind of a monoculture. It's
First of all, how dare you?
that fucking monocle. Oh,
I'm gonna put you two together in your own little mononucleus.
Oh,
I had the mononucleus in high school, actually.
Yeah, that's right. Making out under the benches while smoking a joint. That's how you get that. Okay, so yes, this is the building. What we are seeing is a building that doesn't exist anymore because of an earthquake.
Because of a bomb.
A bomb.
Because it's right here. This fucker.
We don't know. Listen. It's all fine. See, I think this is the first time you see he gets he's wired up. I think he did it after they fought.
He did it after. He
I do too.
He decides to kill himself. And okay, so now's the time to talk about the alternative ending. This is an ending that the producers insisted they write. The original ending of the script, there is a successful bomb mutual suicide between JD and Veronica. The bomb is strapped to her that blows up. And in heaven, the exact same thing that happens during JD's final monologue is what you see. JD's final monologue, he's like, in heaven's the only place where everyone's going to get along, right? Something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
He cares.
And yeah, and so in the final scene, it is a prom in heaven. And all the cliques are there, but they're all dancing with opposite cliques.
Oh,
And
God.
Oh, God.
one of the jocks has brought a cow. And there's a punch bowl full of Drano. It sounds like they really like were
This
swinging
sounds
from-
awful.
Ain't none of those kids going to heaven.
You don't like it?
No.
No.
You don't
This
like
sounds
it?
terrible.
I thought it sounded great.
I
thought
liked
it
it.
sounded great. I like it. Well,
I
anyway,
also like the other original ending.
and
I think
then,
that's my favorite.
when they were going to have to rework that, the idea was that Martha Dunstock kills Veronica. She stabs her to death. And as Veronica is dying, and she listens to Martha Dunstock say to her, "Die, Heather, die." She's like, "I'm not a Heather." And so that was a second ending. But I will agree with you guys that this ending is great. And one of the great things about it is that after JD blows himself up and she chooses to watch it happen right in front of her, she offers the counterbalance to him lighting his cigarette off her smoldering hand.
Mm-hmm.
She burns herself in the car with the car lighter. And he, in response, lights his cigarette from her burning hand. So now he is like giving her his final plea as a partner, as a human, as a person, what he's doing. And she says nothing, but she pulls out a cigarette in anticipation of him finally just, ridding the world of him, which is really in everyone's best interest.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That building's gone.
Keep that deleted.
Yeah. You hate it.
Yeah, no, that alternate
hate the
ending
prom
sounds...
in heaven. You hate the prom in heaven.
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
Huh.
That's awful. We don't need that.
And so she successfully lit her cigarette from his smoldering corpse chunks. I would have to assume. Boy, that must have been hot.
Everything is fine.
And so now we're going to get into the point at the end of the movie where I really do have a bit of contention with this film. Martha Dunstock's character has had absolutely nothing to do with Veronica whatsoever. As a matter of fact, it would be difficult to argue that Martha Dunstock was not fully aware of who played the football sex letter prank on her, because she is known as a person who can do that. So why she is just, again, it's a place of advantage and entitlement that she could just approach, Martha Dunstock and say, "Hey, we'll just be friends now, and you'll be my buddy." And
it would have.
I agree.
I just want to finish my thought because I am a little tipsy, and I'm afraid I'm going to miss it if I don't say it now. This movie wants you to think that they are against, size exclusionism, but then it engages in size exclusionism. This actor's only line takes place when Veronica talks to her. It's her only moment of spoken dialogue. It's fucking bullshit. And so, like, Heather, Heather's, I know I said a lot of good things about you, but fuck you for that. Fuck you for that.
I will agree with you. I don't want to go so far as commenting about size exclusion, but because I'll give it the time frame. But the fact that she goes back and she speaks to Martha rather than going back and finding her actual friend Betty that she does enjoy spending time with seems a little off.
Yeah,
the fact that they I get maybe what they're trying to do is form some sort of hey, things are going to be different because there's a new sheriff in town, and I'm going to make sure everybody's included, and that's why. But it doesn't feel right. It comes across as forced, and it should have been Betty.
It should have been Betty.
It should have been Betty.
Martha should have been the old friend the whole time.
Yeah, something
like that would have made.
Agree.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Which is what happens in the musical. There is no Betty in the musical.
Boo.
Has anyone seen the musical?
I have not.
There's no non-live way to see it at this point that I'm aware of. You cannot see a recording of it. But yes, they do away with. They do away
find stuff of it on YouTube, but that's probably it.
Yeah, they do away with the Betty Finn character and just make it about Martha Dunstock, which makes obvious sense, right? Like that makes clear sense. It bothers me that Martha Dunstock isn't like, no, fuck you. Like, I ain't your friend. That would have been a better ending, instead of being like, I'd like that. You're 3 words in the whole fucking movie. I'd like that. Like, it's just like, this is a movie about agency, and it's kind of just sitting there. I don't know. But we should vote. Do we have any final thoughts other than mine? The one that I just
I'm good.
How do you feel? Well, no one else has any final thoughts?
I mean, it was my selection. Like I said, there's so much about this movie that I really do enjoy. Other than what we just talked about, that ending, there's not much else that I would point out. I think Jeff and I really covered a lot of trivia on this movie tonight.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
we can vote.
Let's vote.
I was thrilled to rewatch it.
You were thrilled to rewatch it, yeah.
Yes, I was.
Because it had been a while, right? It's just one of those movies that's in the peripheral all the time, right? Kind of like,
yeah,
it exists, but you haven't.
Somehow I never went back to it.
Yeah, it was something that I just never went back to. I remember, seeing it in the theater, enjoying it in the theater, and that was pretty much it. It was not something that I ever went back to. There was certain stuff that I still remembered to this day, and I still think it's a very clever, very well written film. I think it's fantastic. I do one bit of trivia that I don't know if you caught, Jeff, was the writer really loved Stanley Kubrick and absolutely wanted him to direct this movie, and did not happen.
That just
did not happen.
That just screams a film student.
It totally does.
Mr. Kubrick, could I have a minute?
Like
Kubrick,
it just it was almost a painful thing to read. It's like the guy who only likes Skinner. You man, I swear to you, there's other good stuff out there. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with Skinner. Skinner's great. And they're like, nope.
Skinner's
only
great.
Skinner.
We love Skinner. But
I wrote Skinner.
I
wrote Skinner in an album. But yes. I did see that.
Ain't nobody can sing like Ronnie Van Zant.
Yeah. All right. Well, I had a thought formulating, but that exploded it out. So let's just vote. And Barbara, you are the first to vote. You're the first to vote.
It's a yes for me. If you liked this movie when you first saw it, go back and rewatch it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you've never seen this movie, then you should definitely watch it because I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a definite yes for me.
I'm hip.
Yeah.
I like that.
There's just so much charm and wonderfulness to it. There's so many funny, dark, funny. I think that's important to emphasize. This is dark. This is a dark subject matter. And
it's trigger warning subject matter.
Oh yeah, it really
is.
Especially in this day and age, it's very trigger warning effect, in effect. But
a lot of the language would not be used even in a rated R movie today.
No. It's got some language, it's got some very dark subject matter, and some really, really terrible, terrible things happen. And they happen in the most gloriously funny way possible. I do. I love this movie. It's an absolute yes from me.
I love my dead gay movie.
I love my dead gay movie.
It's a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Wizard, we're going to go the other way this time. Enough with you being last.
Well, I've got to give it a resounding yes. If you have a pulse,
No.
you should see this movie.
And what is this selling? What is this selling? What do you think? What is really going to grab someone? How do you convince someone to watch this movie?
Everything in it is intended.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing superfluous. I think you should watch it repeated times because you can find layers of storytelling in this movie. I'd like to see what Kubrick could have done with it.
I would buy that.
I would like to have seen it. I don't, but it was just such an oddball thing. Yeah. Let's have my favorite film director, Stanley Kubrick.
Hey, fuck it. If you don't ask, the answer's always no.
That's true.
Mr. Kubrick.
100% right. You gotta ask.
You gotta ask.
I'm gonna go real quick and just say it's also a thumbs up for me. It was kind of a little bit of a culture shock to be reintroduced to frat boy behavior and ideology. And, I don't know what Daniel Waters' background is, but he clearly was touched by like an Ohio or Ohio-esque way of life. Like this is not a movie written about LA in LA. It just happened to be shot in LA. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Like, this is very close to what high school was like in a movie. Like, of course, a movie is always going to be kind of fake, but this is about as close as you can get to what high school was like for me in a fake movie environment. I would just warn you that there's, just a little bit of shockingness in it. But if you love this movie, like I love this movie, when you are of a certain age, I definitely think you should revisit it. And to echo what Barbara said, if you haven't seen it, see it. You shouldn't have watched this. Just see it.
You shouldn't have watched the show.
You shouldn't have watched this show. You should have seen this movie already. It's too late. All right.
We ruined it for you.
We ruined it for you, Empress. Empress, how we doing? What's going on?
Oh, we're doing good. We're doing good. There were too many things from. First of all, let me just start out by saying I don't want to yuck anybody's yum because I know this is such a beloved movie for people from our generation. But for me, I think there were just too many things now that I view from a different lens. Like I kind of agree with you that this is some of what high school was like. But I particularly have issues with the fat phobia, the homophobia. I really was completely, even from the very beginning, completely repulsed by Christian Slater's character, like the trench coat, the facial expressions. I just thought he was like repulsive, and I got psychopath vibes from him from the very beginning. And then he was like, he's a serial killer, he's a gaslighter, he's an abuser. You know, like I'm like, why is the movie centered on this character in particular? He's a white man. You know, it's just like, just all of those things about his character really repulsed me, and I don't like the movie.
He's the villain, isn't he? I mean, that's kind of
I think that's
the villain.
That's the
the
bad guy.
Sure,
and then she beats him.
But just me personally, I think I'm the outlier in that I just didn't enjoy it. Like the dark humor, I get it. I can totally see it. I don't know. Something about it rubbed me the wrong way. I think, this happened 10 years before the Columbine High School massacre. And so, the fact that he's trying to kill the whole high school and then also set off a bomb, like that's literally Columbine. So I'm a little triggered by that issue. And also the monocle. I was so bothered by the monocle. Like there was just so
that monocle cannot get any love, man.
So anyway, I just the big scrawling handwriting. I was like, what in the fuck? I also in particular
the big sprawling handwriting. We didn't mention the handwriting.
Oh my god,
we didn't mention the
handwriting was crazy. The handwriting was insane. Also, I'm particularly bothered.
What the fuck was it, dude?
I'm particularly bothered by the fact of the sexual sophistication of these people, and Winona Ryder is literally 16.
That is high school, though.
That's high school.
Is it? That was not my high school. That was not my
fucking
mindset.
In high school. I was in high school. I was not a senior when I was fucking, dude. People be fucking in high school.
Not me. That I was very goody two shoes. So this was,
and I was dorky as fuck. I was dorky as fuck, and I fucked in my junior year. I was super awkward. I was a really awkward, weird ass.
I was a very much a goody two shoes as well. Like, I never cut school. I never got a detention.
Me either.
Okay. So, but I ran in the same circles of people that did. So this still was high school for me.
I feel very naive in that arena because I know I must have hung out with kids who did that, because we had like one of our cheerleaders from high school was pregnant on senior year. Like it was, people were definitely having babies by the time senior year came around. But so I know that there was that kind of activity happening, but somehow it just escaped me, or I was just turned a blind eye to it. I feel very naive, and to see 16-year-olds saying "fuck me gently" with a chainsaw is just a little much for me. You know what I mean? Like that's just not how I grew up. So so I thought it was super, super interesting. I'm super glad I saw it. It's obviously an iconic movie, and it has so much pop culture tied to it, and so many kids identify with this movie. So there were aspects that were funny, but me personally, I'm an outlier, and I'm gonna have to say I did not enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it.
But what we want to know, someone who loved it as a kid, what do you think?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because I didn't see it as a kid either. I didn't see it. So I'm going to say no, just because of my weird perspective.
No, I get it. Yeah.
So sorry.
I wouldn't call it a weird perspective.
No, it's not weird at all.
No, I don't think it's weird.
No,
I think you made a lot of really,
It's a matter of what your taste is and what you want to spend your time watching, and I totally get that. So
I really disliked Christian Slater's character. Just gave me the ick so much that overrides a lot of my opinion about this movie. The character itself, not necessarily him, but just his character.
But see, to me, I think that you understood exactly what he was intended to come across as.
Perhaps.
Yeah. He's a scumbag.
Yeah, he is a scumbag.
He's
the devil in this.
He's evil.
Yeah, he's the devil.
I did totally 100% wear some of those outfits though, and I remember those long shorts with the white tights and the flats. Hello.
Oh,
represent.
No one was wearing a satin dress with jeans underneath, and I think that's the most important thing.
That's the 90s.
That's the 90s. That was not my 80s
90s
experience, but man, the tights with the shorts and the flats
and the jackets, the little it was like business casual in high school.
It sure was.
Are hot,
shoulder pads as high and as far as you could see.
And also we had the really high bangs and the ponytail with the ponytail pulled back, but then the really big fluffy bangs in the front. That was totally the look.
And scrunchies were the thing.
Jeans and a Kiss t-shirt.
Scrunchies.
Not everybody could be as cool as you, babe.
Scrunchies.
All right. No, I accept your no. I think that's a totally valid no.
Thank you.
That is down. I'm down with your no. Pumpkinhead, how are you feeling? How are you doing? How are we doing over there?
Good. I gave this a yes. I really enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed looking at it. For all the reasons we have enumerated up to this point. I enjoyed the schadenfreude of the, popular bitchy girls getting some comeuppance.
And
in a safe way. Yeah.
And jokes.
Yeah. Well, I only spent junior high in a high school setting like that, and then for high school I went to an arts magnet myself, and we didn't have sports, and we didn't have a big number of jock types. Certainly there were cliques and there was some drama, but I feel like I really got most of that in the 2 years that I was in junior high, and it really felt like most of the meanness was coming from the girls. And who knows what would have happened if I had stayed with my regular high school. I don't know.
That sounds kind of wonderful.
I'm sitting here green with envy that you guys got to go to an art school, because that just was not something you found in rural Northern California at all.
I'm
I'm
supremely grateful. I really had a great high school experience.
As is often the case in my life, my fortune was not lost at me at the time, and it still isn't. I feel lucky all the time. I'll put it that way. I always feel very fortunate about my life.
That's nice.
And my high school, lucky in high school, except for my freshman year when I was in Podunk, Ohio, and jocks were calling me FAG. Totally happened. I got threatened with violence. Actually, I talked myself out of 2 different ass whoopings. So I don't think I was a terrible person in high school. I feel like I stopped fights 2 times in my life just by talking myself out of it. All right. Well, we know it's not a universal yes, but it's an overwhelming yes. Adam, how do you feel?
It's an overwhelming yes. There's a lot lost in the decades in between when this came out and where we are now socially. This might seem tame if you don't remember it very well, or if you don't remember when it came out very well. But
I think it's still shocking.
I don't find it that shocking considering the stuff that's come in between. But I really enjoyed it. I absolutely 100% enjoyed rewatching it. There's still some great gets in there. There's some shocking stuff, which is fun. It's not gratuitous, and it's a hell yeah, 2 thumbs up.
All right. Well, yeah. Wizard, do you want to bust out the banner on this one?
Oh, but
There
it's
we
not totaled all the way.
We have the banner.
We need another banner.
Probably.
Mostly totaled.
We need a lot
total?
of things.
99% total.
6/7 total.
This is 6/7 total.
9 3/8.
So that's the thing. You do bring up a good point. Is that for most of the films we've given a thumbs up to, it's usually been right along the line, and like there's been at least one person on that line who's like I don't know, I'm not sure how to vote. So we do need it's mostly total.
It's mostly total.
Yes, exactly. Because
Mostly.
people are I don't know, I guess it's a yes.
Mostly.
And then they see this full blown celebration. They're like, whoa, wait a minute. I didn't say I loved it.
No, we could not leave Empress Buttercup out there.
Yeah, absolutely not.
That is absolutely perfect. It's mostly totaled.
Mostly.
I am so excited to talk about my picks for 2 weeks.
Jeff, what are your picks for the next episode?
So, I'm kind of an action nut and a sci-fi nut and a horror nut.
Sure, we all are.
But when I think about my childhood, one of the things I think about are all these comedies that came through my life that I got a big kick out of as well, right? And I wanted to do 3 comedies that I feel like are pretty obscure. The world just does not really remember, love these films. But I guarantee you, when I was a kid, I loved each and every one of these movies for at least a short period of time. So I'm going to give them to you in increasing level of obscurity. Okay, the first movie I'm going to mention to you is the least obscure. You ready?
No, but go ahead.
Chevy Chase in Modern Problems.
Oh, ouch.
He has radioactive material land on his car.
Ooh.
And he gets special. I fucking loved this movie when I was a kid.
And Dabney Coleman is in it.
Dabney Coleman is in
and I
it.
hope by now you come to the conclusion that she's a manipulating bitch.
I feel like I just dragged my toe running around the pool too fast.
I
have a real bad feeling to where the rest of this list is going.
I'd watch that.
I'm not trying to hurt anyone. Let me make that clear. I don't want to hurt anyone.
Cringe.
That's
all right.
Next.
I swear to fucking God, I loved this movie when I was a kid. But there is no celebration and several crossroads that would offer celebration to this film that just have this blind spot around this film. No one talks about this film. So I kind of want to watch this movie again because when I was a kid, I did really like this movie, and so did my mom. My mom, who formed a lot of my appreciation for cinema, loved this movie too. So we shared it together. This is a mom movie for me. It stars Steve Martin and Lily Tomlin.
Oh wow!
Oh yes, please.
All of Me. It's called
All of Me. Yes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
I have one more.
I love that movie.
I have one more. And this movie is definitely cable responsible, right? I have no association with this movie aside from the fact that it played on cable. it is weird. It is one of those weird out of time 80s movies where like it's kind of like Dragnet, you know? They made this movie Dragnet in the 80s when the whole world didn't give a shit about Dragnet anymore, right?
I saw it in the theater.
I saw it in the theater too. And you know what? It's another mom movie. It's not on today's list, but it will get there. But this movie, I know as a kid, I thought was just the shit. And there was a gag in this movie that my grandma walked in on that she thought was fucking hilarious. And it's a Chattanooga Choo Choo, which came out the same year as All of Me.
I don't even know what that is.
I know you don't know what it is because it's the most obscure movie on my list. But it stars George Kennedy.
Ooh.
I feel like.
Do you? Who else? Come on, Buttercup. Buttercup, are you with me on this? Have you seen this movie? It's a fucking HBO movie.
I can't help you, buddy.
I have not seen it. Sorry, I have not.
I
have not.
Just wondering. Well, I feel like
I
everyone's
think I
leaning
might have
towards-
seen this.
You think you might have seen it?
Maybe.
It's kind of a T. It's kind of a TNA comedy without the T.
Yeah.
Or the A, or the comedy. All right, we're going to talk about this. Barbara, you chose this movie, so I want to give you first stab at. And also, I want to make sure our listening audience who is still commenting can vote as well. But Barbara, I want to give you first one.
Well, I did do a sudden, oh my God, it's All of Me. I do know that movie, and I love that movie.
No one talks about that movie. No
There's
one talks about that movie.
I have not seen it in forever. I think it's actually on my list as well because I have a
Is
running
it
list
really?
now.
It's on your list.
I think so. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to dig out the notepad that I have the list written on, but
You know, one of the reasons why it's not sung is because it's unsung because it's 84. You know what fucking 84 is like in the box office. But yeah.
Well, I didn't see it in the theater when it came out, but it was a cable staple for the longest time. And so I watched it constantly. And I do really have a fondness for this movie. I am very intrigued though with Chattanooga Choo Choo because I've never even heard of it.
Do you know who Barbara Eden is?
I do know who Barbara Eden is.
She is in this movie prominently.
I do know who Barbara Eden is. I do know who George Kennedy is.
Fucking cast. It is an 80s B movie nightmare. Like, I swear to you, every single person.
Sounds like a Love Boat episode on Rail.
I know. That's exactly what I was thinking. Was that
Joe
it sounded
Namath,
like a Love Boat episode.
Joe Namath, Clue Gallagher, Melissa Sue
Barbara
Anderson.
Eden. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna have to go for All of Me.
All of Me for that.
And my follow-up would be, does anyone else remember The Incredible Shrinking Woman?
Oh!
Okay.
Mic drop.
No one talks about that
Holy
anymore.
shit, no one talks about. You are so right. No one talks
That
about
I watched
Okay,
that movie
since-
a million times.
A million times,
A
Buttercup.
million.
A million times. She is in the fucking sink with toast. It is so perilous. I've never
It is
been
terrifying.
so afraid of toast.
Okay. Well then, yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, toast.
We'll save Chattanooga Choo Choo for another. My vote would be for All of Me, since it's on my list too.
Chattanooga Choo Choo's not going anywhere.
I'm voting for Chattanooga Choo Choo. I'm voting for Chattanooga Choo Choo if anybody wants my vote.
All right. No, we got 2 for All of Me, 1 for Choo Choo. Pumpkinhead, where are we at?
I'm gonna do All of Me as well.
3 for All of Me. Wizard.
This is so hard because if I'm not gonna lie, I really kind of want to see Modern Problems again because it's been a long
Shame
time.
on you, sir.
And I
Good day,
remember liking it, and I want to revisit it because I'm pretty sure.
No, vote Green Party.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be awful.
See what happens. Go ahead.
And I really want to see Chattanooga Choo Choo because I'm not sure if I've seen it, but either way, I know I'm going to have a good time on that train. I'm going to have a good time on that train, but I was a huge Steve Martin fan.
Yeah.
That early wave of Steve Martin. And
Vic, it's all of me.
It's
all of me. We're doing All of Me.
I want to see All of Me.
All of Me.
That wins.
Why not take all of me? Can't you see? I'm no good without you.
Back in the bowl.
Take my arms.
The bowl.
I want to lose them.
Wow, that was pretty good.
Take my heart.
He's a singer.
Well, I fucked up the lyrics. So.
Yeah, but you delivered, and that's all that matters.
Mr. Moray.
Now that it's too late to go back, I do want to point out that I'm pretty sure there's Indian face in All of Me.
Yes, there is.
So we are going to be touching down.
If memory serves me right.
Some very racially inappropriate. And also, like, this is kind of our first time touching down on Indian face. However, Indian face happened a lot in the 80s.
It did.
A lot.
Yeah. End of the 90s, we had the Love Guru. That was a thing that happened.
Well, you know what? If anything, like the Love Guru
Short Circuit
showed us that we're I'm afraid to put Short Circuit on a list because
people will come to your door
of watching it. I loved that movie when I was a kid, and I know how fucked up it is. I'm afraid to revisit that movie.
If you value your channel.
Nobody does a slow burn like Steve Martin did in the 80s movies. He's really stellar at it.
He holds back until you can't take it anymore. And
he's a bad guy in this movie, right? Like he's a very complicated character.
He's not if I remember right,
it's villain on villain. This movie's villain on villain, right?
Well, okay, so if I remember correctly, Lily Tomlin is a sort of eccentric millionaire who is very
not a good person.
She's not a very good person. She's very shallow.
Not a good person.
She is obsessed with living forever and youth and all of this, and Steve Martin plays sort of a not great guy who agrees to facilitate this bit of that he considers nonsense.
No, he does not agree.
And
he does not agree.
So, Wizard, you've seen this too, Wizard.
Yeah. No, he gets in it by accident. She's supposed to go on somebody else.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I keep thinking because the real villain in the whole thing ends up being the girl
that she was supposed to go into.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah. This was my thing. I love this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, you love this movie.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, Steve Martin delivers the physical performance of a lifetime.
Oh,
when one half of his body is Steve Martin, and the other half of his body is
Lily
Lily Tomlin,
Tomlin.
and he
Yeah.
walks across a room.
When was the
Yo-
last time you saw this movie?
It's been a while, but I watched it a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited.
This movie is.
I am very excited.
I
There's
feel
a
like
scene
it's a
where
movie he always
where they
wanted to
brush.
make.
Oh
they
yeah.
brush the
As
teeth.
far as the quality, that it's not a comedy. It feels like one. It's not the artsy fartsy thing that Pennies from Heaven was, that I think he wanted to be the movie. But this one, he achieved.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There's a
Passionate.
scene where they are brushing the teeth.
Oh,
And
Yes.
I have not thought of this until you said it.
Yeah, I
Oh
hadn't
my
thought about
God,
it
you're
too.
just bringing it right back.
But it's
You're
like
bringing it
where-
right back.
She's like, and we gently brush the teeth up and down.
Oh.
And he's just like, he grabs the toothbrush from the non-dominant hand or whatever, and he just starts. It's like, or you can just brush your teeth like a normal person. Yeah, I do like this movie. I haven't seen it in forever.
Okay, no
Wonderful.
more spoiling.
Yeah, no more
Okay.
spoiling.
No more spoiling.
I definitely have not seen this movie since I was a very
Yeah.
young child. Like, this is not a revisited movie. It's not.
No.
You know,
No.
And I think it is time
it's time. It's
that we
time for
consider
some folks to
wrapping this
talk
thing
about
up.
it.
All right, kids.
Okay. Oh,
All right,
well,
guys.
Yeah.
good night, Pumpkinhead, and thanks for hanging out with us. Thank
Good night.
you.
I hope you feel better soon. I
Yeah.
hope you start feeling better very, very soon.
Bye.
A
Bye.
Feel better.
a big heartfelt thanks to everyone who hung out with us, commented along. We love you.
Wrong one.
Thank you very much for being a part of tonight's live stream, and for everyone who listened afterwards, who just for some reason likes to hear the sound of our voices. I don't get it, but hey, thanks.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. Please please subscribe, please check out the film Heathers.
Yeah, go see it.
And know that when you're doing it, you are really doing Winona Ryder a favor, because she loves that movie so much and did so much to get it, and still talks about it to this day. It just very high, high flowering. We love you, Winona. We love you, Heathers. And we are really looking forward to watching our first Steve Martin movie. We'll see you in 2 weeks when we talk about All of Me. Why not take all of me? Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye now for now.